Hi Aquarius, this is your August of 2022 Taroscope with Animal Totem. This month we're going to do a little extra added bonus for the beginning because there's this big thing happening in the Uranus North Node conjunction, and it's happening in the sign of Taurus. However, Uranus is your ruling planet. So all Aquariuses are definitely going to be affected by this. Another thing that's happening this month is there's going to be a full moon on the 11th. In your sign, you get one new moon and one full moon each month. So in your sign of Aquarius over here, we're going to have that full moon. And the planet of Saturn is also in your sign and is squaring the Uranus conjunction. I mean, it's a lot. So Aquariuses, you are absolutely feeling the effects of this energy. You are in the thick of it for sure. I'm going to take a look at where, if this part, the cards can apply to any Aquarius placement in your chart, but primarily this is going to be for your rising sign. So if you're not watching your rising sign right now, for this part you probably do want to check that out for sure. But this part, so this would be the Saturn in the first squaring this, in your second, third, and fourth. So here's your fourth house. So it's from your first to your fourth. Many of you are going to be moving. Many of you are going to be moving to a new location. That would be the primary thing of that. But it's a lot of this Aquarius, your vibe and this energy, the Uranian energy, this is about freedom. And you want to break free from where you've parked yourself. So whether you've parked yourself in a location in a house or where you've parked yourself in a career or job, you want to be free of that. And Saturn can make it really hard on you. I'll be honest. I mean, I won't lie about it. Saturn can make things difficult. Saturn can make things hard on you. But it's only because it's really wanting to push you in the right direction. Now, Saturn also is your ancient ruler. This was the ruler of not only Capricorn, but Aquarius, also Saturn. Prior to the discovery of the Uranus, which I'm not sure what year that was discovered in, but so you have ties to Saturn as well. So there's two things going on. There's a Saturn thing and there's a Uranus thing. So you are tied to both of them. Fourth house could also be like you want to be free from anything in your early childhood life, your early upbringing, your early programming that has held you back from the North Node of being the true expression of your true self and really letting your freak flag fly to the fullest extent. Being the ultimate you, the you 2.0 they're coming through with. So things could happen. Things could happen at this time. A lot of it could be unexpected because Uranus is unexpected. I feel though, for you Aquarians, you're ruled by Uranus, so you've been dealing with Uranus. You've been swimming in the Uranian energy your entire life. So it's not so much of a shock perhaps. Oh, sorry about that. My diffuser just went off. It's not so much of a shock perhaps because you're so inclined to just roll with the changes anyway. You're excited about the future for the most part. Unless you have stuff in Capricorn, there's always exceptions. But for the most part, the Aquarian energy, you are excited about the future. You're looking forward to the next big leap. You want to be freed from constraints that are holding you down in the earth plane, and you want to fly like the eagles, You want to fly like an eagle. Okay, I'm going to set this over here aside for the time being, and we're going to get into doing our card readings now. I want to invite you all to just subscribe if you enjoy my content. Then that would help me out quite a bit, and I do appreciate it. I'll leave this up here if any of you want to look at it. So here's the decks we're going to be using for today. My new third edition of the Rock and Roll Tarot deck. Well, you start out with that and the Celtic Cross. We'll follow up and find your significator using the good old Hanson Roberts, an old-time favorite. And then we will pull a card from an Animal Totem card for your Animal Totem from the Beast Mistress Animal Oracle cards. If you are a Patreon level 2 subscriber, then we will also receive 4 additional clarifiers from the good old I was going to say Hanson Roberts again, but of course that is the Rider-Waite-Smith deck. Okay, let's get into shuffling our cards for our Aquarius for the month of August of 2022. By the way, this whole thing that we're talking about, it's already happening. If you're watching this whole Uranus North Node thing that I just was talking about, it is already in effect in late July, if you're watching this in late July. But it's going to be exact anywhere between July 31st and August 1st, depending on your location. And the effects of it will also linger a good week or so into, I mean, I feel like it's still going to be in effect by the time we get to the 11th of your full moon, which I didn't really talk about. We need to talk about that more. You know, you're going to have your one and only full moon on the 11th. That's when things really come to culmination. With this Uranian aspect, you may have some major realizations about, hey, I don't want to live here anymore. I don't want to do this job anymore. I don't want to, you know, I want to be free. And, you know, sometimes the universe will even do it for you, you know, on a full moon. Also, at the time of your full moon, which is again August 11th, this is a great time to release. This is your most powerful time. We're going to take these first few cards to release that you will encounter all year long. I think it will go like this and like this and like this. Because the full moon it comes into its waxing and it comes to full, and that's like the big shining light awareness and everything like that, and then it goes into regression or waning energy. I also want to make one more quick announcement before I start on these cards. I am open for the Ingress reading, the next Ingress reading coming up. I know many of you enjoy it. It'll be available for about a month, 6 weeks or so to order. So check it out if you're interested. It's always a popular reading, and it'll be available by the time these readings go live. Okay, let's see here. So you have the Ace of Rods right at the very beginning. So there is, you know, this new beginning. There is this new seeds that you are planting. But I would plant them before we get to that new moon. I mean, planting a seed of whatever type around that very first of the month, when that Uranus North Node thing, it could be so powerful for you. And this kind of echoes, this energy here kind of echoes what I was talking about in the chart with your 4th house. That you're tired of this. You're not going to put up with it anymore. I'm hearing I'm mad as hell and I'm not going to take it anymore. You've been in some struggle. You know, your Saturn has been in your house and been in your sign here for a minute. This year, at least all of this year. Maybe it went in last year, I'm not sure. But Saturn will bring these things to your attention. It's like, you know, things that maybe you've even trotted along with for years and years and years and put up with and put up with and put up with. And then Saturn comes along and says, hey, it can make it more difficult, but it's only trying to push you forward. And I love that the star is in the reading, because the star is always raining down beautiful blessings. This is actually your card in the tarot, because it's the water bearer. This is the card that represents you in the tarot. But it's also a high spiritual card. Whenever the star shows up in the reading, know that you are dealing with divine guidance. I also love that this Ace of Rods points right to the Magician. And the Magician could be called the ace of the major arcana, because it's number 1. And he's also like pointing upward. So it's like onward and upward. I'm going to put that for your title if I can fit it in. I got so much to say because you have the full moon and all that stuff. But I'm going to put that in case I need one. Onward and upward. Onward and upwards. Yeah, that's absolutely, you know, the attitude to take and the Aquarian energy at this time. Your ships are coming in. You're being pushed. These cards here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I mean, quite a few of being in struggle, of being pushed, of having to struggle, and things becoming more and more difficult because you're being pushed by Saturn to make the change, to take that leap, to make that change, to break out of the old paradigm. And then you have you know, your ships are coming in. 3 of Rods, your ships are coming in. You're going to receive what you want. You have to have that belief, even though he can't see the ships yet. He's certain that he's looking out for his success. The final outcome is the Knight of Rods. So the Knight of Rods is a fire sign energy, which is Leo, Aries, or Sagittarius. We are going to be in the sign of Leo for the majority of the month. We're going to be in the sign of Leo until the 22nd, so it could be around that time. There is not a new moon in Leo, but there is right before, in the late July, 28th, I believe, there will be a new moon in Leo. So you can like hit the ground running with these aces on that new moon in Leo, you know, off the energy. And Leo's your opposite sign, too. Hit the ground running and then just charging straight into your future as we move into, you know, the new millennium is what they're saying. That's what the guides are coming through with. All right, so let's go ahead and shuffle. Now, you are an air sign. I know People often think that Aquarius, being the water bearer, is a water sign, but trust me, you are an air sign. You don't have to leave any comments about it. I do know what I speak of. Okay, so I'm going to look for you. You're going to be represented as any of the adult air signs. Okay, so the adult air signs in the tarot are going to be the Jack or the Page, Knight, King, or Queen. So Knight, King, or Queen of Swords or air, that's going to be your card. And then whenever you show up, we're going to look at the cards that are just surrounding you to get even more. And look at that first card I draw. Those flipped out. This was the first card I drew, and it's the same first card I drew in the initial reading. Ace of Rods, Ace of Rods. Powerful message from the universe, and Ace of Cups. Look at that. To plant these new seeds, do these new beginnings. There you are. You're showing up as the Queen, and right next to the Star. And what was the second card here? The Star. And now you're showing up right next to the Star. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and finish this row, and then we're going to put another row below you, so we have, you know, a decent amount of cards to kind of hone in on and look at. You have 5 of Swords here twice too. You have 5. I'm hearing, I believe it's time for me to fly. Yeah, it's time for you to fly. That might be a better thing. Time for you to fly. I'm going to put that. Let me write that down before I forget. For me to fly, but you to fly. Yeah, it's time for you to fly. Definitely. Because when you have that twice, this 5 of Swords, if you're hanging on to something, because, you know, you're an air sign and you're all freedom and everything, yeah, Aquarius, but you are a fixed sign. And you can be like, I'm not leaving. You're not going to push me out. You can be very, you know, planting that flag with this card, you know, especially on this depiction particularly, is like he's planting the flag. If that's been your position, if you're fighting to hold on to something that's full of struggle and full of a lot of conflict and is just a struggle to deal with, you know, all the time, it's absolutely time for you to fly. It's time for you to move on. The Chariot is here. You have 2 journey cards right next to each other. You've got the 8 of Cups and then the Chariot card. So this is all totally talking about movement, travel. Could be travel for some. Maybe some of you are going on vacation. I mean, August is a big vacation time. But I feel that could be true as well. But I feel this is absolutely more about you moving forward in your life. You saying, this, I realize, having the realization that you're not going to change this. And for some of you, because of that 4th house thing, it could be like a parent or somebody. Like maybe you've grown, you know, I'm sure you've grown. You know, you've grown, you've expanded, and you could be like, you know, trying to, if your parents are still living or some older person, trying to, you know, awaken them or make them see the light. They're not seeing anything, okay? They're going to stay where they're at, and you need to go where you're going. Be guided by the starlight. That's what they're coming through with, being guarded by the starlight. I mean, you are very much surrounded by, you have the Star on one side and then the Temperance below, so the high spiritual cards. Yeah, the Temperance is another card of your angels and guides. They're putting these things together. There is something being created out there in the astral plane. You can't see it yet, but it's being created. And this could absolutely be the month where it would show itself, or where you could absolutely take that action to do it. I feel for many of you, you really have to make up your mind. You really have to make that, say, I'm just tired, mad as hell, and I'm not going to take it anymore. I'm sick of this. I'm moving on. And, now the Billy Joel song's coming through. I'm moving out. I don't know the rest of it. But I'm moving out. Some of you may be moving out. Maybe this is a relationship and it's just like, or it could be a romantic relationship, but it could also be like a roommate even. Like they left that toilet seat up. I'm tired of telling them about that toilet seat. I'm moving out. There's a lot of different, you know, things at play here. It could be a lot of different stuff for different people. Yeah, but moving on, moving out. Powerful in so many ways for you, Aquarius. This astrology stuff, I mean, it really is. With the nodal, with the full moon, with Saturn being in your sign, squaring this nodal thing. I mean, it's a lot. And it can be unnerving or unsettling, but if anybody can handle unnerving and unsettling, it's Aquarius. You absolutely can. Okay, let's get your animal totem. A quick reminder, again, I am open for the equinox reading, which is coming up in the following month, but I like to start early so I can get everybody in and not be overwhelmed, because it's always, these readings are always really popular, and I just like to, you know, spread it out a little bit, just so I'm not just getting pummeled at the end and I get too overwhelmed. Okay, so, because I like to, and people always ask, I tell you in the email, but as of right now, turnaround is usually within a week. When you order a reading, you usually will have it within a week. I try real hard to get it to you within the week. Sometimes it might go a little longer, but usually when I send the reply, I always say 7 to 10 days, but I really try to get it in back to you in under a week. Okay, what is going on for our Aquarius friends? What is the animal totem for our Aquarius friends for the fox? Well, again, there's that foxy, sexy vibe for us oldsters out there. You know, we used to say when we were young, oh, it's such a fox. Oh, it's a foxy lady. You know, I'm sure many of you have heard that Jimi Hendrix. But, you know, fox is also a trickster. And it could be some sneaky, sly shit going on, you know, and maybe, you know, that could be that full moon, if that's the case for anybody out there. On that full moon, you could totally find out about that, okay? Let's see here. Sly, sexy, charming shapeshifter. Elevated sense of smell, acute hearing, mediumship. Camouflage, retreat, insulate, survive. Keep to yourself until you know who to trust. Yeah, you know, I'm kind of getting that vibe too. I feel like this is a time to kind of be looking at your future, making your plans, communing with spirit, following those synchronicities, following those, you know, little signs and symbols, breadcrumbs that the universe is, you know, spreading out for you, because you're definitely being led with these two very powerful cards there. All right, before we go, I wanted to just, you know, show a couple. Again, I have that reading. I think I mentioned that a couple times already. Sigil Workbook is my latest book that's been out. And I have several. I mean, I've got all kinds of books out. You can check on Amazon. But this is becoming real popular. It's fun. This could be something that you could absolutely do, like on a full moon ritual or something like that. And I wanted to also mention, since we're having the North Node conjunction and leading into the space age, and we've had all this beautiful stuff with the new telescope that's been discovered, I wanted to mention that 10 years ago, I wrote a fictional book, a novella, and it's a short book, and it's called Starseed, a Pleiadian Tale of Love. I wrote it under a pen name, V.M. Lariv, which is an anagram of my real name, Verlie. I was kind of rushing because I wanted to get it out, you know, before the big 12-12-12 thing, you know, 2012 or December 20, whatever it was, at 12-21-12. So it's rough around the edges. It needs some, you know, going back over and an improvement. I illustrated the cover too, of course. I told Amazon that it was my book, and they were supposed to put it in with my book, but they never had. But I wasn't ready to come out about all this alien stuff back then. That's why I used a pen name. But it's a fictional book. So if anybody enjoys like sci-fi fiction, it's a fiction, sci-fi romance, you know, paranormal romance. Because back then that was really kind of the hot thing. There was all that, you know, Twilight was big, and the Sookie Stackhouse books, and there was a third series that was really popular. So I kind of was trying to fit it into that format. But I always saw this book, and I just put it available. It should be available for the Kindle Lending Library, so you can read it for free when by the time these videos are out. I wrote it as a book, but I really always saw it as, you know, a TV series or a movie or something like that. You know, I can even see the scenes and everything, and that's the way it was downloaded to me. I tried to write it in a book, but if there's anybody out there that's looking for, or would be interested in even collaborating on making this into a film or polishing it up or whatever the case may be, you know, definitely let me know, because I just feel like with the Uranus North Node, it's time to really break this out again. And the book stops at a certain point in the story, but and I never released another book after about it, but a follow-up. But I have a notebook full of the further adventures of Rory Lang, who is the main character. I mean, I've got stuff about time travel and walk-ins, and, you know, so it could be definitely an ongoing story, you know. So if anybody's, out there that is into this, well, even if you just like reading this kind of stuff, you don't have to be somebody in the industry necessarily, but I just wanted to, I felt like this was the time to really, bring this out and really show it to people again. So check it out if you're interested. Don't forget about the Ingress readings. If you are a Patreon supporter, we're going to do there's going to be 4 more cards pulled, and if you're interested in that, you can find out from the links below. Visit my website at vickieverlie.com for more info on everything, the readings. I have all sorts of books. By your participating in these different things, I have the journals and notebooks, you can get something nice for yourself, and they're all very costly. I keep the costs way down. I don't charge a crazy amount. This book is $11.99, and this one is I don't know, it's under $10. And it's free in the Kindle Lending Library, as are my channel books are free in the Kindle Lending Library. So I try to keep the cost down because I want to make it available for everybody. But, I put a lot of time and effort into it. But by, the t-shirts, the books, the notebooks, back to school time's coming up. If you want to check out some of the notebooks that I have some beautiful notebooks and journals with my artwork on it. And those are also very inexpensive. That's all so appreciated, and that all helps go towards me to be able to continue to do these free readings on YouTube, month after month, year after year. All right, Aquarius, what are you trying to manifest? Where do you want to go next? Because it's like there's a rocket light. I'm seeing like they're lighting a rocket, or and it's under your butt, and you could just be propelled way out into into the higher than you've ever thought you could dream of, to infinity and beyond, I keep hearing. Okay. All right, Patreon peeps, you're up next. Hey, Aquarius, happy full moon, happy North Node conjunction with Saturn and the whole thing. I mean, you are right in the center of the storm. So stay grounded, but also look to the stars and dream big. We'll see you again next month. Patreon, you're up next. Till then.